Nintendo, a name that dominates the gaming world today, didn't start out as the family-friendly empire it's known for. In fact, its roots are buried in secrecy, scandal, and some surprising partnerships. It all began in 1889 when a man named Fusajiro Yamauchi opened a small shop in Kyoto, Japan. But instead of selling consoles or cartridges, he hand-painted playing cards, Hanafuda cards to be exact. These weren't just for innocent games. Because gambling was illegal in Japan, these cards became popular in underground gambling dens, especially among the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. Yes, Nintendo's first loyal customers were gangsters. Fusajiro crafted each card by hand, grinding tree bark into pulp, using natural flower dyes, and painting intricate symbols like flowers, swords, and moons. As demand grew, he couldn't keep up alone, so he hired staff, then landed a distribution deal with Japan Tobacco and Salt Company. That partnership pushed Nintendo's cards nationwide, making the brand a household name in Japan. By 1907, Nintendo was the top playing card company in the country. But when Fusajiro retired, a challenge arose. He had no son to pass the company to. So to keep the company in the family, he arranged for his daughter to marry a smart, ambitious businessman named Sekiryo Kaneda, who adopted the Yamauchi name and took over as president. This solution worked for a time until history repeated itself. Sekiryo's son-in-law abandoned his family, leaving behind a boy named Hiroshi Yamauchi. That boy would grow up to completely reinvent Nintendo. Hiroshi studied law, but in 1949, when his grandfather fell gravely ill, he was pulled out of university and thrust into leadership at just 21 years old. With no experience and no real support, Hiroshi made a bold move. He fired all other family members from the company to assert total control. He had a vision to take Nintendo from local card maker to international powerhouse. In the 1950s, Hiroshi visited America and saw the success of Disney. Inspired, he secured the rights to use Disney characters on Nintendo cards. This simple licensing deal helped Nintendo shift from gambling to family-friendly entertainment. He also shortened the company name to just Nintendo, ditching its original full name Nintendo Koppai, which meant card company. But then came a bizarre phase. In the 1960s, Hiroshi tried everything to grow the business. Instant rice, taxis, even managing hourly love hotels. Most of these ventures failed, and the company teetered on the edge of bankruptcy. Then, in 1966, while walking through the factory floor, Hiroshi saw a toy invented by an assembly worker named Gunpei Yokoi. A plastic extendable arm. It was called the Ultra Hand. Hiroshi ordered 1 million units to be produced for the holidays. The toy sold out, saving Nintendo from financial ruin. Gunpei was promoted. He had started as a janitor. Now he was head of R&D. His next big hit came from a simple moment on a train, watching a businessman fiddle with a calculator. That sparked the idea for Game & Watch, a handheld game that ran on watch batteries. In 1980, it launched and flew off shelves. Nintendo had now officially entered the world of electronic games. Don't forget to pause, like this video, and hit subscribe. If you're enjoying this deep dive, it helps us keep the videos coming. Seeing the rise of arcade games like Space Invaders, Hiroshi decided to copy the formula with a game called Radar Scope. But it flopped in the US. Thousands of unsold cabinets sat gathering dust in warehouses. Refusing to give up, Hiroshi launched a contest to redesign the game. A young artist named Shigeru Miyamoto stepped up. He reimagined the game using characters inspired by Popeye. But instead of using actual cartoon rights, he created his own giant ape as the villain, a distressed princess, and a blue-collar hero with a red hat and overalls. The ape, Donkey Kong. The hero, originally called Jumpman, but later renamed Mario. Nintendo shipped the modified cabinets, and Donkey Kong became a massive hit. Bars filled up with players feeding quarters into the machine. But success brought trouble. Universal Studios filed a lawsuit claiming Donkey Kong copied King Kong. John Kirby, Nintendo's lawyer, exposed Universal's hypocrisy. In a previous case, Universal had argued King Kong was public domain. The judge sided with Nintendo. As a tribute, the character Kirby was born. Around this time, the video game market collapsed in the US due to poor quality games and oversaturation. Atari dumped millions of unsold cartridges in landfills. But while others retreated, Hiroshi doubled down. He scrapped the arcade division and focused entirely on a home console, the Famicom. Released in Japan, it was an immediate hit. Nintendo then rebranded it for the US market as the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, and bundled it with a game no one could resist. Super Mario Bros. With 32 levels, hidden power-ups, and addictive gameplay, Mario fever spread like wildfire. Nintendo revived the gaming industry. And if you're loving this journey through gaming history, smash that like button, subscribe, and share it with a fellow Nintendo fan. You know the drill. The NES sold over 60 million units. Nintendo followed it up with The Legend of Zelda, a revolutionary game filled with puzzles, hidden dungeons, and open exploration. Then came the Game Boy. Bundled with Tetris, it was the first true gaming-on-the-go experience. People saw falling blocks in their dreams. It was called the Tetris effect. Even President Bush was spotted playing one. But the success caught the attention of Sega, who launched the Genesis. With aggressive marketing and edgy titles like Sonic, Sega branded Nintendo as childish. Their slogan, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. The two companies battled it out during the early 90s in what became known as the console wars. Nintendo responded with the SNS. Sega undercut them on price. But Nintendo's deep catalog of games and the strength of characters like Mario, Link, and Kirby gave them the edge. Then a fateful partnership changed everything. Nintendo had teamed up with Sony to develop a CD-ROM add-on, but at a press conference, they ditched Sony and chose Philips instead. Sony retaliated by launching their own console, the PlayStation. The PlayStation was a smash hit. It played CDs, had better graphics, and introduced online play. Nintendo, now facing Sony and Microsoft's new Xbox, began to fall behind. The GameCube struggled. In 2002, Hiroshi Yamauchi retired, ending a 53-year reign. But before we continue, if you haven't already, take a second to like and subscribe. It really helps us keep making high-quality videos like this one. The next leader, Satoru Iwata, had a new vision: make gaming fun for everyone. He and Miyamoto developed the Wii, a console with motion-sensing remotes. The launch title, Wii Sports, was simple. Bowling, tennis, golf, games anyone could pick up instantly. It was a cultural phenomenon, outselling Xbox and PlayStation combined. Nintendo didn't stop there, They followed up with the Switch, allowing players to play at home or on the go. This hybrid design made it wildly popular among both casual and hardcore gamers. However, not all was perfect. Nintendo became notorious for strict copyright enforcement, striking YouTubers and shutting down fan projects. Their creators' program required revenue cuts and strict content guidelines. Greenpeace criticized them for alleged labor abuses in factories. Despite this, the brand endured. In 2023, the Super Mario movie broke box office records for an animated film, proving that Nintendo's characters are still beloved across generations. Some studies even claim Mario is more recognizable than Mickey Mouse. From handmade playing cards for gangsters to the biggest name in gaming, Nintendo's story is one of risk, reinvention, and relentless creativity. And if that isn't worth a like, a subscribe, and a share, what is? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.